Cooper needed my help to get this one. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. So a bit of a humorous tale here. Cooper initially tried to buy this guitar out of Japan, but it got stuck in customs and it got sent back to the store. So at that point he reached out, he's like, hey, I need your help with your forwarding service. Can you get me this Japan exclusive Tele that I've been wanting forever? To which I said, yeah, sure, no problem. Although, not gonna lie, slightly jealous of his cool find. Because today we're talking about the Beck Telecaster. Now, if that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry, by the end of today's episode, it will. But this is just an interesting anime signature guitar. That's right, it is a thing. We've documented quite a few of these. From the Goro Yudo Signature 59, to the Evangelion Telecaster, or to a slightly different degree, the Final Fantasy Stratocaster or the Last of Us Taylor. And Japanese exclusive signature guitars are just kind of a subsect of my channel. I'm all about Gibson USA, custom shop, but when it comes to Fenders, I prefer the ones from Japan because they have so much fun over there, especially with their signature artists like Silent Siren, the Flappy Pigeons out of Zemitis, or maybe even the Disney Telecasters. But this Tele has a little happy dog on the back of the headstock with the branding of the show, Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. So, just as a quick recap, this is essentially a show about a worthless, unskilled teenager dude working his way through the ranks, learning guitar, eventually joining a bigger band, getting his first guitar, typical schoolboy crushing on a girl, trying to impress her type stuff. Most of it's on YouTube if you're interested in checking it out, although not for kids due to some minor language and references. But you see this guitar in the intro card, but as far as being introduced in the show, it's in episode 15, where he sees this thing in a shop. He's in love with it. I think we can all relate to that a little bit. But there's actually more than one famous guitar out of this show. There's Lucille / Prudence in the USA dub. It's a Les Paul that gets shot 7 times. So if you ever see a guitar in Japan with 7 holes bored in it, yeah, it's because of this show. And yes, the name does come after B.B. King's Lucille because it has a very similar backstory about 2 guys fighting about a girl. But this is officially known as the Fender TL-68 BC. TL for Telecaster, for obvious reasons. 68 telling you the specs that they were slightly basing this one off of. And then BC for the show. But it features a cool satin ash blonde finish. Like you can just barely see through this. It just really appears like a heavy yellow from far away. But it is, kind of see-through ash. But it is one of those high-quality, nice satin feeling finishes. Same thing is true on the back of the neck. But now let's see if we have any case candy. We've got a cool Fender strap. And sweet, the original tag. With all the branding and serial number and everything. This one is, I would actually consider collector's condition. You don't normally see all the stuff with it. And with a Beck pick, although it looks like it's intended to be put on a necklace. So to learn more about this mid-2000s exclusive Telecaster, let's go ahead and throw it on the workbench to take an individual look at its parts and specs. Inside the Beck Telecaster, here's what it looks like all taken apart. So the cool thing about this series is it actually utilizes Fender USA pickups, the Telecaster set. As far as going further than that, they didn't say. And I don't see any additional markings back here, but we do see the cloth wiring. So that's usually a good sign. Here's a look inside our neck pickup cavity. It's just routed for a single coil. And you've got this area right here to access your truss rod. I did notice something interesting here. There's a portion drilled into the body and it has a route for a grounding wire. However, there's not one there. I'm not a wiring expert, but I would assume maybe it goes right there because that looks like a grounding tab. But it's pretty basic as far as your saddle system goes, just your 3 steel ones, and it is a string through Tele. So usually when it comes to the made in Japan guitars, they make them really good. The body and the wood's fantastic. You don't have to worry about that. However, to keep them at a certain price, they usually don't put the best pickups in, but they're normally okay. So here you just have to kind of worry about the slightly cheaper switch as well as the pots. Not saying that they're terrible, but usually that is a point of upgrade. But this one appears to be stock to me. But here's a look inside that route. It appears to at least be a 3-piece ash body. At least that's what the wood grain looks like to me. This has a similar finish to the Japan Junior series, if you're familiar with those. It has a velvety satin feel to it. It's not raw. And I'm not seeing any areas where it's been buffed up from heavy play or anything like that. This is quite a nice example. It still has the plastic over top of the pick guard. That's nice. and the vintage USA sticker on it talking about the pickups. But speaking of which, the bridge reads 6.82k ohms, the neck 7.27, and the middle, just for fun, 3.57. Now, it's been a while since we've talked about Fenders on the show, but that seems rather hot. So I'll have to see how those things sound. And we've got our regular metal knurled knobs, master volume, master tone. Moving on from our ash body, we've got that maple neck with the rosewood fretboard. I did find it kind of interesting to have the side markers so low on the neck and being ebony. But you've got your usual dot inlays made of a pearloid material on the face of the fretboard, and this utilizes vintage specs. So a 25.5 inch scale length with a 7.25 inch fretboard radius, with a 1.66 inch nut width, increasing to 2.05 at the 12th. First fret neck depth 0.85 and 0.94 by the 12th. I would call it more of a C-shaped neck, but as you get up here, it feels like the shoulders kind of come to slightly more of a D shape. Whereas up here, it's a very clear C. So it just becomes like a little bit more pronounced right here. Here's a look at that neck profile on the contour gauge. Maybe it'd be more apropos to call it nearly a U shape over here before getting into like a wider C. So yes, it does get a bit chunkier, but it's the width and the shoulders that you feel. Then we can move to the face of our headstock. They utilize 2 string trees on this model. I'm not really familiar with 68 Tele specs. Is that supposed to be off-center? But otherwise, you just got your regular Fender decals with your vintage poke it down, wrap it around style tuners. Moving on to the back. If we get it into the light, you can see some more of the wood grain. But it is a string-through Telecaster, as we were talking about earlier. We've got a strap button on the bottom. And at the top over here, we've got our F-stamped neck plate. Then on the neck, it says Made in Japan with our serial number. So looking this one up online, it appears to suggest it's a 2010 produced Fuji Gen. But we've got some nice maple wood grain, and it is a tinted lacquered neck. Before we get to our F-stamped tuners and our logo back here. This one weighs 7 pounds, 11.2 ounces. Let's go ahead, plug it in, and hear how it sounds. Hot bridge. I guess those readings do make sense now. I'm surprised how clear that neck pickup is. A lot of Teles get muddy. Now let's see how it cleans up. Nothing wrong with that. And this is why I usually don't do my forwarding service on guitars that I already want, because I've fallen in love with this thing. It's a great little Tele. Feels great, has a cool little story behind it. It's got a friendly little doggo on the back of the headstock. And most importantly, it sounds and plays phenomenal. If you're looking for just a slightly hotter than usual Telecaster, for some more rock music, as well as being able to dial it back for your more traditional stuff, I think you're really gonna like the Beck Teles. I mean, on a good day, you might be able to find one as cheap as $900. On a bad day, around $2,000. But usually you're around $1,500, depending on a couple of different factors. Just to kind of give you a mindset of where these fall on the used market when they do show up. In 2024, that is. Things change constantly throughout the years. But I would highly suggest picking one of these up. I didn't notice any super crazy grounding issues, but maybe in a live situation that would be different. And these pots did the trick good enough. All right, troglodytes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Take care. If you enjoyed this one, you're gonna love my channel. I post every single day. But you might enjoy checking this next one out.